The late afternoon sun baked the cracked pavement of the Pine Hollow fuel stop, heat wobbling off the ground as cars drifted in and out. Gasoline hung in the air, tangled with the faint smell of fries from the diner across the road. In the middle of what should have been an ordinary, forgettable day, something happened that no one who saw it would ever forget. A lone woman stood at Pump 4, her old minivan shivering as it idled. Her name was Nadia Rourke, a single mother holding the last threads of her life together. She had no idea that within minutes, she would be ringed first by cruelty and then by unexpected salvation. Before we go deeper, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and people standing up for what's right, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Harbor of Hope. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Nadia's day had already been a storm. Her shift at the diner ran late. Her pay came up short, again. The back-to-school list her little boy, Micah, handed her that morning felt like a mountain she couldn't climb. The minivan, held together by duct tape and prayers, was running on fumes. She scraped together the last few crumpled bills for gas, praying it would last until next paycheck. Life had carved heavy lines into her young face, but her eyes still held that quiet fire only mothers, who fight for their children, carry. As she stood at the pump, fishing for coins in a tired wallet, 3 men swaggered out of the convenience store. Not locals, too loud, too sure of themselves, grins sharp as broken glass. One tossed an empty can onto the asphalt, another spotted Nadia. The show began. They drifted closer, voices rising. They mocked her clothes, jeered at the wheezing van, and sneered about her being alone. One even reached toward her purse, dangling off her shoulder, laughing like she was nothing, more than a cheap joke on their way to the next bad decision. Nadia's hands trembled around the nozzle. Her chest tightened. She glanced around. The station was nearly empty. No one close enough to help. The thought of Micah waiting at home steadied her. She couldn't fall apart. Not now. Inside, though, she felt the crack. The men's laughter pitched higher, echoing across the lot when the rumble began. A low, steady thunder rolled in from the highway, gathering volume with every heartbeat. Nadia heard it first, turned toward the road and froze. A line of motorcycles, nearly a dozen, swept into the station, chrome winking under the hard sun. Engines growling like a pack of wolves. One after another, they pulled up and stopped, forming a presence that was both magnificent and unmistakably formidable. They were the Iron Seraphs. The 3 men went still, bravado slipping. The riders weren't just men on machines. They carried an aura that silenced the air around them. Their leader, a towering figure with a silver-threaded beard and eyes like cut steel, swung off his bike. The patch on his leather cut, a stylized winged blade, made most people think twice before running their mouths. His boots hit the ground with a thud that seemed to steady the pavement. Without a word, he and his crew fanned out, forming a loose half-circle around Nadia. A wall, a promise. The hecklers started stuttering. Excuses, nervous laughs. One tried to joke, but his voice cracked. The leader didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His gaze pinned them where they stood. The message plain, leave now or wish you had. They backed away fast, tripping over themselves on the retreat. Tires squealed. Cowardice lingered longer than their exhaust. Only then did Nadia realize she'd been holding her breath. It left her in a shaky exhale. The riders stayed put, silent, watchful, making sure the threat was gone. Then the leader turned to her. For a heartbeat, she braced for judgment. Shabby clothes, broken van, fear still trembling in her hands. But his eyes held no pity, only respect. He gave her a single nod, the kind that said, "You're not alone. You stood your ground. We've got you." One rider, Mara Wrench Valdez, quietly pressed a few folded bills into Nadia's palm. Another, Colt Avery, propped the hood, snugged a loose cable, and topped off the oil from a can he carried in his saddlebag. They worked without ceremony, without asking for thanks. Nadia's tears finally came, not from fear, but from the weight of a kindness she hadn't expected. For years she'd fought alone. For the first time in a long time, someone stood beside her. Engines fired back to life, the sound rolling through the station like thunder. Before he mounted up, the leader, Cassian Drake, met her eyes. "Keep at it," he said, voice low but sure. "You're stronger than you feel." Then the Iron Seraph swept out, a storm receding down the highway. Nadia stood there, clutching the pump handle and those folded bills, her heartbeat settling into something steadier. The fear was gone, replaced by a warmth she couldn't quite name. She knew the road ahead would still be rough, the bills high, the nights long, but something inside her had shifted. She felt seen, protected. reminded that goodness can arrive out of nowhere, even on the hottest, hardest days. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Tree of Stories. Help us remind the world that kindness, courage, and compassion still matter. And before we close, tell us in the comments, do moments like this, when strangers stand up for the vulnerable, still happen today? Your voice matters here. Your story might be the spark someone else needs.